Hi, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to supporters and members of the Rejoin EU party. My name is Liz Webster and I am the founder of a campaign group called Save British Farming. We farm here in Wiltshire, and ever since Brexit was born, I have been working to try and get rid of it. But to date, it's still here, and so am I, still fighting after nearly 9 years. But my interest in Brexit is diverse in that I realise the damage that it does to the country. But principally, my concern around Brexit has always been about food and food security. And I always understood that farming and food were the sacrificial lambs of Brexit. And I'm afraid to say that I have been proved right with that. And every year that Brexit continues, our food situation is getting more and more dire. I had hoped that the new Labour government would quickly get us back as close to the EU as possible, but sadly to date, that has not happened. It's been a tumultuous couple of weeks with the new government's budget, which is very controversial, and it's hard to see how it delivers on this government's pledges to ensure a closer alignment with the EU, but also to deliver prosperity. On top of that, we have seen the American elections deliver Donald Trump back in the White House. And we don't know really what that means for Britain going forward. Some people think that a Trump presidency will push the UK back to the EU. Other commentators think that Keir Starmer might be tempted to do a trade deal with Donald Trump, but they haven't addressed the issue that actually America itself has some difficulties with a trade deal. So that seems a bit of a unicorn in all of this. However, Keir Starmer is saying warm words to the European Union and about the European Union, but he's still sticking behind these ludicrous red lines, which are prohibitive. And there is no way we can get any progress without getting rid of these red lines. We need freedom of movement. Our businesses are struggling because we lost freedom of movement. We are an ageing population with a declining birth rate, and freedom of movement is the perfect tool to ensure that we have the access to workers and also for our own people to be able to go and retire over in the European Union, or to study over there, or to work over there. Freedom of movement is a fantastic reality and something which Brexit stole from us and we need back. But Keir Starmer seems reluctant to move on his red lines around that freedom of movement and ensuring that we stay out of the single market and the customs union. And without getting rid of those red lines, it's impossible to see how prosperity will return. If Keir Starmer was to agree a trade deal and got through all of the difficulties with Congress and everything else, that in itself is disastrous for Britain. It would mean it would be catastrophic for our food standards and our farming. It would be a huge industrialisation of our farms and our land, and it would mean a race to the bottom in terms of food and environmental standards, a loss of food security, and also privatisation of our national health system. And that is something that I think the British people didn't vote for, and I still don't think they would vote for it now. So it seems bizarre that that is even considered to be on the table by a Labour government, but time will tell. Going forward, though, to ensure the door is open for Rejoin, we have to keep up the pressure. And the biggest obstacle to rejoining is divergence. That's us becoming very different or going away from EU regulation. And largely we haven't diverged since Brexit. The European Union itself has, in fact, brought in new laws, which has meant it's diverged from us. However, two recent things in the budget have the propensity to ensure that we diverge from EU regulations and possibly contravene our trade agreement with Europe. The first is the VAT on school fees, and the second is the farm tax, the farm inheritance tax, which some are cheering on because they think it's going to make James Dyson pay for what they think is trying to escape inheritance tax. But the VAT on school fees, the European Union are considering taking the UK government to court on this, so we will watch to see how that unfolds. On the farm tax, there's a lot of protests happening and a lot of pressure, so we will see again if the Labour government and the Labour Party itself decide to get the Chancellor to rethink this bad idea. And I really hope that as time goes on, more and more people wake up to this. And it's looking that way as the polls keep continuing to climb for the public wanting to rejoin. However, because there is a silence, a Brexit omerta amongst our political class, we have to keep on and we have to persuade people that Brexit is something that can't be ignored. Because while it's here, it's like just living in a house while it's on fire. We have to agree to put the fire out, and the only way to put it out is by rejoining the European Union. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Vote Rejoin EU. Join the EU vision.